This restricted area in the Namibian desert, scattered ruins tell of a vanished world. A hill with scattered buildings. The German diamond town of Kolmanskop. 100 years ago, this barren desert came to life suddenly when a diamond rush broke out in what was then the German colony of Southwest Africa, and thousands of diamonds were recovered from the sand. A little town grew almost overnight, boasting modern industrial facilities and a casino. Buildings in the eclectic style then popular in Germany, in the African desert. Ghostly remnants of a little Germany in southwestern Africa. Who lived in these buildings? What happened here? Hidden under the sand are floors imported from America and wooden beams from East Germany. It was a life in the desert, but at least it was a life in luxury. As one resident described in a letter to Germany, the evening was wonderful. Dinner consisted of fresh spiny lobster tails, springbok, mushrooms and asparagus, and crepes with vanilla creme. And they call this Africa. The center of the diamond industry in Southwest Africa, Kolmanskop, was an elegant town. Its houses were built with superb German craftsmanship, built on sand for a diamond rush that lasted a few decades. Kolmanskop Casino was the place to meet. And still is.
Alle Deutschsprechenden bleiben bitte hier im Saal. Herr Helbig will jetzt Ihr Tourguide sein. All English speaking. Please come along with me. We go out to the other side and we're coming back here. Okay, let's go.
Deutschsprachige hier geblieben. Ja, herzlich willkommen hier in Kolmanskuppe. Sperrgebiet, haben Sie da vorne gelesen auf dem großen Schild. Bitte keine Steine aufheben. Hat jemand schon Steine aufgehoben? Gibt die beim Tor ab. Um 12 Uhr habe ich Schluss und dann hole ich mir die da immer ab und verkaufe die dann in Lüderitzburg. Ja, gut. Mein Name ist Hartmut Helbig. Ich bin hier geboren. Meine Urgroßeltern kamen mal vor 145 Jahren ins Land. Wir sprechen auch Deutsch in Namibia mit Ihrer Hilfe. Schönen Dank. Sie haben Steuergelder bezahlt. Ich sehe Ihr sorgenvolles Gesicht. Ja.
School choirs from all around come to practice and perform here. The acoustics in the casino's ballroom are excellent.
Sie sehen da die Düne drinne, die ist da reingerutscht, hat rechts schon die Wand rausgedrückt, also bitte, bitte nicht da reinsteigen. Hier der Magazinverwalter drinne, der musste für das Material sorgen. Hier unten beim Bahnhof war ein riesengroßes Lager angelegt worden, denn alles kam ja aus Deutschland. Jeder Meter Holz, Stahl, Schrauben, was Sie auch hier gebrauchten, kam aus Deutschland zu der Zeit. Kommen Sie, wir gehen hier runter.
Namibia's national anthem reflects its long struggle for independence. This young country was occupied and exploited by other nations for over a century. It was a German colony for 3 decades before World War I and ruled by South Africa until 1990. But one group of outsiders came here long before German soldiers, merchants, and diamond hunters entered the picture: missionaries. Hartmut Helbig is one of their descendants.
Die Missionare haben es in der Gegend blinken sehen und da haben sie ins Mutterhaus berichtet, man meint, man ist im Himmel. Die zogen hier mit den Ochsenwagen durch die Dünen hier in der Nacht. Der Mond schien hell, es blinkte überall. Da schrieb man ihnen zurück: kümmert euch um die verloren gegangenen Seelen, nicht um den Himmel auf Erden. Tausende sind hier durch die Dünen gezogen. Keiner hat gesehen, dass da Diamanten liegen.
Shifting sands that swallow anything in their path. The Great Dune Sea in the Namib Desert. Amid this arid landscape, a train station. The Germans began laying tracks here in 1905 for the transport of soldiers. During the uprisings of the Herero and Nama peoples against colonial rule, many natives were taken prisoner and used as slave laborers. This railway line alone cost over 1,500 of them their lives. Workers had to shovel the tracks free of sand continually. In 1908, one of them, a man by the name of Zacharias Lawala, stumbled on a shiny stone while working in the area and sparked a diamond rush. Lawala himself did not share in the riches. The only ones who profited from the diamond boom were the whites. A letter to Germany describes the heady rush of those days. At first, you hardly had to dig for the stones. You only needed to collect them. Tents appeared. The black, white, and red flag flew proudly. We were in the diamond prospectors' camp. The hillocks left behind by prospectors sifting through the sand still dot the southern Namib today. Initially, anyone who was white could obtain a prospecting license. But the German colonial society soon controlled access to the area, and the 180-mile-long and 60-mile-wide strip of desert containing diamonds was declared a forbidden zone, or Sperrgebiet. The German word is still used today. People used to come here to look for diamonds. 100 years later, a German biologist named Ingrid Wiesel is looking for something very different in the Sperrgebiet. She's doing research on a rare species of hyena that is found in this region.
Das Erste, was wir machen, ist, wir fliegen in die Kovisberge.
Dann können wir nämlich von Kovisbergen einfach Rottkopf fahren.
Dann die Straße entlang runter.
Straße entlang runter, dann die Pavianberge, da sind so ein paar Berge noch vor den Dünen, dass wir da mal ein 360 machen, ziemlich hoch. Grillental, das ist ja hier ungefähr. Mhm. Und wenn wir ihn da nicht finden, dann weiß ich auch nicht.
Wiesel has a PhD in biology and is researching the territorial behavior of brown hyenas with the help of GPS collars that record the animal's position every hour. She downloads the data when flying over the area and uses it to trace their migration routes.
Die braunen Hyänen haben GPS-Sender und diese Sender, von denen kann man halt über diese Empfänger, die ich jetzt überall hier im Flugzeug verteilt habe, die Daten runterladen. Das heißt, wir können von einem Tier pro Flug 1000 Positionen runterladen. Das sind ungefähr 6 Wochen Bewegung. Und das ist natürlich ganz, ganz eindrucksvoll, was man da bekommen kann. Und wir gucken heute nach einer Hyäne, die heißt Darwin. Das ist ein Männchen, das haben wir besendet. Und das haben wir erst vor einem Monat besendet und wir können es halt nicht finden. Und jetzt versuchen wir das heute zu finden. Und gestern hatten wir eine Hyäne, die heißt Obelixe. Die ist hier auch drauf. Also sie sind alle schön mit ihren nicht wissenschaftlichen Namen drauf. Da kann ich sie mir auch besser merken. Und ja, also wir hoffen, dass wir diesen Darwin heute finden. Wenn nicht, müssen wir im September nochmal los.
Wiesel sets out in a plane every 2 months and makes her rounds over the Sperrgebiet in the southern Namib. Since few humans venture there, it's an ideal habitat for the shy brown hyena.
Also erstmal würde ich so sagen Richtung Prinzenbucht und dann Inland.
Jetzt gehen wir aber auch höher auf 3000.
Ja, ja.
The world's oldest desert, the Namib is a land of extremes. Ice-cold winters and scorching summers. It's 300 kilometers along the Atlantic coast from here to South Africa. There's little in between but sand, rocks and diamonds.
Guck, über diese Gegend nach links müssen wir dann irgendwo mal 360 machen.
The old diamond washing plant near Kolmanskop serves as a landmark in the desert. Mining the precious gems required professionals. Engineers, architects, chemists, and tradesmen came to live here with their families, most of them from Germany. And for 25 years, Kolmanskop was home to several hundred people. The town boomed as long as diamonds were found in the area. In 1909, the average yield was 70,000 carats a month, a full 20% of world production. But as the deposits dwindled, the people began to leave. In the beginning, water was shipped in from Cape Town. It was more expensive than beer, more precious than champagne. Later, a spring was discovered 50 miles farther inland, and pipes were laid to Kolmanskop. A butcher shop and an ice factory were built. Ammonia and concentrated hydrochloric acid were used for cooling.
Dieses hier ist eine Eisfabrik, 1910 schon. Das Fachpersonal wurde aus Deutschland hergebracht. Mit guten Gehältern hat man die zusammenbekommen, aber die sollten hier nicht in der Wüstenei leben. Also hat jeder Haushalt von der Firma einen Eisschrank in die Küche gestellt bekommen. Das waren Eisschränke hier. Nicht ein Kühlschrank, wie er heute ist. Das ist ein Eisschrank gewesen. Hier oben der halbe Block Eis rein, wurde hier in der Tischlerei hergestellt. Ins Fach direkt unter das Eis hat die Frau Butterkäse und Wurst gepackt. Unten, das Fach ist ein bisschen größer für einen Vater für Bier und Wein.
Water and ice were delivered to the door free of charge, at least to the grand mansions of the wealthy.
Kolmanskop war ein Versuch, ein neues Zuhause aufzubauen, aber im Stil von was man zu Hause hatte. Die Leute, die hierher kamen, ich meine, das war eine teure Sache, um die herzubringen. Und das waren auch nicht die Dorfidioten von zu Hause. Ich meine, die hatten einen guten Beruf zu Hause, die hatten Familie zu Hause. Die waren nicht bereit, hier rauszukommen, ohne Frau und Kind und sie dann hier in ein Zelt zu setzen und warmes Bier zu trinken. Ich meine, das musste denen attraktiv gemacht werden. Das ist sinnlos, wenn man den Mann den Job ankommt und die Frau sagt, wüsste, du spinnst. Ne? Und daher wurden richtige Massivhäuser gebaut. Dann, wenn Besuch kam nachmittags zur Tee, dann haben sie die Türklinken wurden poliert und dann Lappen drum gewickelt. Und die Kinder haben dann geguckt, wenn der Besuch unterwegs war, haben sie diese Lappen von den Messingklinken abgenommen, damit das alles noch schön glänzte, wenn die ankamen. Und das zeigt, dass sie hatten einen richtigen Stolz auf ihr Zuhause. Und das kannst du in einer Blechbude, in einem Zelt geht das einfach nicht.
A new day begins at the casino. Where the diamond barons once sipped champagne, Alma Head now sells the popular gemstones to tourists. As the purest substance found in nature, and the hardest, they can even cut glass. Diamonds are especially valuable. They account for over 30% of Namibia's export revenues even today. Stones worth several hundreds of thousands of euros are delivered to Alma Head each day. Of course, the diamonds she sells do not come straight from the mines, but are already cut and come with a certificate. The Namibian government has made possession of unprocessed or rough diamonds a punishable offense in an effort to curtail diamond smuggling and illicit trade.
The biggest stone we found in Namibia was 238 carats. It was found in Oranjemund. The stones in Lüderitz are much smaller. You get 3 to 4 on a carat. And then it's about the size of a match head, the head of a match. Each stone has got its own grading, and you get a better grading or a lower grading, and that influences the price. If the grading is higher, the price is higher. So it's always the cut, the color, the clarity, and the carat weight that you look at. You can see no difference with your eye, with your naked eye. But you can see that the color has got a big influence on the stone. The white stone is always the most popular stone, and the round brilliant is also very popular. And it's more expensive to cut because it's got more facets. Each round brilliant stone has got 58 facets, which make it the more expensive to cut. It's more time consuming.
Over 1 metric ton of diamonds were recovered from the restricted zone in the years leading up to 1914. The diamond boom made Kolmanskop one of the richest towns in Africa. For a few years. It had its own elementary school with a solidly built schoolhouse. It even had a hospital, boasting the first X-ray machine in all of southern Africa. The hospital mainly benefited the wealthy white families, but X-rays were used to check for swallowed stones, not just broken bones. When the diamond boom subsided, the infrastructure began to crumble. In 1952, the hospital became the last building to be abandoned to the southwester. The strong cold wind that frequently sweeps over the barren countryside here. The Germans built like they did at home, and sang of their love for a land they had stolen from its indigenous inhabitants. Originally written for the region's German Boy Scouts in 1937, the Südwesterlied is still something of an unofficial national anthem for white Namibians. 19-year-old Christo Bivenga is keenly interested in German Namibian history. The line between past and present becomes blurred as the sound of the controversial Southwester song wafts over the ruins.
Komm her, Dornholz ist unser Land und trocken sind seine Reviere. Die Klippen, sie sind von der Sonne verbrannt und scheu sind im Busche die Tiere. Und sollte man uns fragen, was hält euch denn hier fest, ja fest? Wir könnten nur sagen, wir lieben Südwest.
The Germans' love of this foreign land grew even stronger when diamonds were discovered. August Stauch was one of the first diamond millionaires. The former railway inspector owned half of Kolmanskop during its heyday. As a visitor noted, Stauch spilled the harvest of 3 days into an enamel bowl. 500 carats, 125,000 marks worth of diamonds in a soup bowl. And at an expense so low, it was downright ridiculous. Namdeb owns a lot of land here, including Kolmanskop. A few buildings have been renovated since 1980. Meanwhile, over 3,000 people visit the German ghost town in southern Namibia every year. A few miles from Kolmanskop is Lüderitz, a harbor town of 20,000 on the Atlantic coast. The nearest inhabited settlement is almost 100 miles away. Ingrid Wiesel has lived and worked in Lüderitz for 16 years. Many Namibian students like Rusa take advantage of the opportunity to do an internship with the experienced hyena researcher. Today, the two are heading into the diamond-rich Sperrgebiet administered by Namdeb. The corporation is a joint venture owned equally by the Namibian government and Beetz, the South African corporation that dominates the global diamond market. Only selected people like Wiesel are allowed into the restricted area. They drive past the old diamond processing plant near Kolmanskop and deeper into the desert. The Namib is extremely arid. Very few animals and plants can survive here. But every few years, rain falls here in the winter, and then the desert blooms almost overnight.
But you see all these plants basically because they have to conserve water. And if you look at these plants here, these leaves have all the water in there. And I mean, I wouldn't test it now, but most of the plants, I mean, are obviously not poisonous, but it's like usually pretty salty water there. But yeah. Actually quite nice. Im Endeffekt war es das Beste, was für das Gebiet passieren konnte. Man hat eine Bufferzone geschaffen zur Küste hin, wo ja die Diamanten gefunden wurden. Und diese Bufferzone hat im Endeffekt dazu geführt, dass das gesamte Gebiet geschützt wurde und man jetzt eine Natur hat, die so natürlich und unangetastet ist, wie man es kaum noch in der Welt findet. Man muss natürlich den Küstenstreifen, wo die Minen und wo die Diamanten abgebaut werden, rausnehmen. Aber im Endeffekt, ja, das ist das Besondere am gesamten Sperrgebiet.
In 2008, the 60-mile-wide strip of desert was declared a national park on account of its unique flora and fauna. But it remains off-limits to the public because diamonds continue to be mined here. Operations that destroy the habitats of many desert animals and plants.
Dadurch, dass wir auch im Sperrgebiet arbeiten und mit der Industrie zu tun haben und jetzt auch neu durch die Eröffnung des Sperrgebiet-Nationalparks mit den Ministerien zu tun haben, um die Entwicklung des Tourismus irgendwie zu fördern, schauen wir natürlich auch viel auf den Einfluss solcher menschlichen Störungen auf das Verhalten und das Überleben der Hyänen. Dass wir schauen, wie verhalten sich die Hyänen, bevor diese Mine überhaupt gebaut wird, wie ist es während des Abbaus und dann danach, wenn die Mine wieder verschwindet. Für die Entwicklung des Sperrgebiet-Nationalparks ist es halt ein bisschen sehr viel komplizierter. Wir müssen halt jetzt schon, bevor irgendetwas passiert, bevor Lodges gebaut werden oder irgendwelche Touristentouren geplant werden ins Gebiet, wirklich feststellen, welche Habitate wichtig für Hyänen sind und sagen, okay, hier sind die Gebiete, die wir gern schützen möchten. Dann werden diese Gebiete auch als striktes Naturreservat oder als Wilderniszone eingeteilt. Das haben wir schon mit einigen Gebieten geschafft. Aber hier an der Küste sind wir noch am Anfangsbereich und da müssen wir jetzt sehen, wie es hier weitergeht.
Hans Schmidt is one of those who have a special pass for the Sperrgebiet. He spent his childhood here and has been guiding tours through the area since he retired. Today, he wants to share his memories with a younger guide.
je net iets weet, je ziet daar het viaduct aan de kant, zie je? Daar aan de kant. Dit was nou die spoorweg naar Spitzveld toe, om diamanten te halen daarvoor.
The quest for diamonds led deeper and deeper into the desert. One mining town after another cropped up in the Sperrgebiet. Claims were staked all the way down to the coast by Elizabeth Bay. The colony of German Southwest Africa became a mandated territory of the Union of South Africa after the First World War, but many Germans continued to work in the mines. One of them was Hans Schmidt's father, who was working in the Diamond Sperrgebiet near Elizabeth Bay when one-year-old Hans and his mother arrived in Southwest Africa in 1929.
Mein erstes Weihnachten haben wir in einem von diesen Holzhäusern verbracht. Denn die Sage ging hier rum, dass alle, die aus Deutschland kamen, zuerst in so einem Haus wohnen mussten, bevor sie ein Steinhaus bekamen. Das zweite Weihnachten, das heißt 1930, haben wir in einem Steinhaus gewohnt. Und da das Wasser sehr rar war, gab es nur einen kleinen Garten. Und ich habe ein Negativ zu Hause, aber leider kann man es drehen und ich weiß nicht, welches Haus es zu der Zeit war. Ich kann Ihnen allerdings das Haus zeigen, wo ich 1934, 35, also das zweite Mal mit meiner Mutter gewohnt habe. Ich würde keinem raten, hier hoch zu laufen, denn ich bin mal hier runtergefahren. Dieses war mein Schlafzimmer. Und da siehst du ein Fenster am Ende, das ist die Station gewesen. Okay. Da mussten wir Brot und Fleisch holen und andere Lebensmittel, die entweder von Lüdersburg kamen oder von Kolmanskop. Denn in Kolmanskop war ja ein Laden. Hier war ja kein Laden gewesen. Das ist jetzt 34. 29 war das der große Laden. Und 29 war auch der Compound da hinten. Das heißt also, wo die schwarzen Arbeiter gewohnt haben. Das war damals 34 auch nicht mehr.
The hard physical labor was performed by 800 black workers, mostly Avambo from the north. Their accommodations were some distance away from the German town and resembled stables more than houses.
Die als 3 daar nog, hè? Nou, hoeveel jaren? Staan die er open? Ja. Ja?
Groep Eschen.
The central kitchen has survived almost intact. Its glass roof was the height of modernity at the time.
Volgens die gaten daar. Moet nog geweest is. Zo, ik vat die gat, die ene hier zo. Zie je, hier die gaten. Hier zo. We can't open it, unfortunately. Alright, squeeze your finger. Nee, das ist worth it, man. Hier gibt es eine Geschichte, die besagt, dass ein Junggeselle heiraten wollte. Und seine Braut in Deutschland hat ihm gesagt, sie käme nur, wenn es unter Palmen ist. Ich nehme an, dass er daraufhin die Palmen an die Wand gemalt hat und sie von Deutschland kam. Ob das natürlich eine gute Ehe war oder eine Scheidung gegeben hat, das kann ich Ihnen leider nicht sagen. Ja, kennst du die Ceiling nicht? So, als je hier staat, is het een nice view van dichtbij, hè? Wat een gebouw is daar onder? Daar, wat een gebouw is die?
Dat is wat we nou bezig is om domein. Dat is nog die nieuwe activiteit nou.
Aha.
Recently, new diamond deposits were discovered near the old mining town of Elizabeth Bay. The rising price of diamonds and new laser cutting technology have made the mining of smaller stones profitable. Most of the diamonds from Namibia are of gem quality and are prized for their purity. Ingrid Wiesel has set up camera traps in the area. She was commissioned by NAMDEB to conduct a study on the impact of the new mining operations on the hyena population.
Because the first thing I do is I'll just switch them off. You see, you can open them up, because otherwise they take photographs of us. Okay, we don't need everything, so we just take whatever we need. Okay, we've got a whole box of full batteries. They're all rechargeables. And today we want to change all the batteries because we're not going to check for the next 6 weeks. Okay, you see this camera has only taken 18 photographs. So now it's very important that you switch it off again, because you can't take the memory card out when the camera is on. Oh, you know what? Somebody has stolen the memory card. And this is now a bit tricky because of the cage. There's this USB port at the bottom. Okay, das Problem ist, dass irgendjemand, der hier vorbeigefahren ist, die Memory-Karte aus der Kamera gestohlen hat. Und wir sind zwar im Diamantensperrgebiet, aber natürlich hat man irgendwie keinen Überblick. Jemand, der hier vorbeifährt, kann dann sehr gut reingehen und die Kamerafalle, die Memory-Karte einfach rausklauen. Und das ist leider passiert, und die Kamera hat einen kleinen Speicher selbst, also sind 18 Fotos drauf. Aber es ist natürlich ungünstig. Wer weiß, vielleicht war ein Tourist hier und der hatte dann keinen Speicher mehr auf seiner Memory-Karte und hat sie rausgezogen und meine benutzt. Just take this one. This is the big surprise now. Okay, so that's us. Let's have a look. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, there will be lots with nothing. Uh-huh. Well, look, that's a little one fighting there or something. It's hyena ear. This is the one at the den. Oh, and you see this one has got a collar. And we can see a bit of the stripes on the legs. They've just got a very distinct stripe pattern. Okay. And it's like your fingerprint, so you can just basically see from the stripes on the legs which animal it is. So this is why I try to get lots of photos with animals that have got, you know, nice stripes, but I don't get that many, as you can see, so it's like a long process. Okay. I'll just open one of the old files, and then I'll see you what we usually get. So this is basically what we're usually looking for. I mean, this is like luck because it's during the daytime. This animal has got a collar. It's carrying a seal now to the den, and you can see the stripes pretty nicely on this photo. The camera traps show us exactly when hyenas are active, okay, and if there's a change in activity. And then also a change in the population size with using photographs which have got good ID, like stripes. So if you see something like that, you know something is happening. And you know that there is something important for hyenas or either jackals. So we obviously check the spoor, what it is. But I know it's hyena because the hyenas are using this old plant as a den at the moment. But when we approach an area like that, we also always have to be careful because the hyenas here can also be active during the day. So let's just have a look if we can see a nice spoor that I can also show you what it looks like. But from the footprint, you can see how strong actually the shoulder area is and their front part, and how weak the hind legs are. If you've got a jackal, that looks like a dog. You see here, you've got this little jackal footprint, and then it's quite a difference between a jackal and a hyena.
This diamond recovery plant in Elizabeth Bay was the most modern in the world when it was built in 1924. All the machinery was imported from Germany. 50,000 cubic meters of sand and gravel were processed here every day. After the material had been washed, crushed, and screened, the diamonds were recovered by hand, 1 for every 3 metric tons on average. The diamond market collapsed in the wake of the Great Depression of 1929, spelling the end for the Elizabeth Bay plant. It was shut down on July 1st, 1931, after only 5 years. Many families stayed on in the town, but diamond mining moved further south. Larger deposits had been found at the Orange River, and the plant was partly dismantled and set up there. Elizabeth Bay was abandoned to the elements.
Aber meistens, wie Kinder sind, die finden immer was zu tun. Wir durften natürlich zu der Zeit an den Strand gehen hier hinten. Wir durften nicht in die Mine runter, wir durften aber an den Strand, welches heute tabu ist. Die See ist heute total verboten.
The beach and the water are off limits today because diamonds are found on the ocean floor as well. 100 million years ago, volcanic eruptions in South Africa carried diamond-bearing rock from the Earth's mantle to the surface in volcanic pipes. The Orange River washed the diamonds into the ocean, and strong currents transported them north, where they were deposited on the seabed and the beaches. Ian and Percival hope to find work diving for diamonds. They're taking part in a training program subsidized by the government. Half the people in Namibia today are unemployed. Here in Lüderitz, the number is even higher, 60%. The fishing industry is having trouble due to overfishing, and tourism is still sluggish. Ian and Percival are pinning their hopes on the diamond industry. The two haven't found a job yet, but they want to keep fit for the next stage of their training. Diving for diamonds is dangerous work. The water is ice cold and there are strong currents. The men have to move boulders out of the way at depths of up to 130 feet and use a giant vacuum cleaner to pick up diamond-bearing gravel, often wreaking havoc on the seabed and wiping out underwater vegetation for a long time.
If I get money out of this now, I would like to finish my studying. So if I can pay for my own studies, so well, be it. pay for my brother's school fees. We can't stand on the streets and do nothing while there's projects like this for us to use. So for me, it's going to mean a better life for me.
Like his two friends who have already found work on one of the many diamond boats in the area.
Okay, julle twee gaan hierdie goed toets vir my. Kom ons.
Skipper André Allen has been in the business for years. He used to dive for diamonds himself. Now the 44-year-old South African heads the crew.
Kan jy asemhaal? Kan jy? Kan jy my hoor? Okay, 5 out of 5. Okay, thank you. Everything bigger than this, the diver needs to pick up and move. You can move a rock as big as that machine underwater. Most people call them crowbars. We call them galas. You take it. We also got you get like a hard conglomerate layer. That you got to hit broken with a hammer. We've got a designated security person. His job is to ensure that nothing goes wrong. Nobody takes one for himself. Before we leave the harbour, the cameras get put on. Well, we only got the one. And that focus on this area and this machine. And at night, all the gravel that we've jigged and haven't jigged gets put in the hold. The steel beams get put through here with 2 locks. And everything is double locked on the boat. The security's got 1 key and I've got the other key. We always want to go to sea. When we get back from 21 days, we usually rest for 3-4 days. Then you prepare the vessel again. And if it's nice weather and your team agrees, you don't take the full 10 days off. Then you go, like after a week, 7 days, you go back to sea.
Why?
Money. If you're not pumping, if you're not in the water, you're not making money. There's airplanes, houses, Ferraris, everything under the water. You must just go and get it.
I can't say the rush is there like it was in the old days where diamonds was free and you know where to go and you find it. Now you go on the position of your skipper. If he tells you, we're going to pump here, you stop there and you pump. Just on the luck that you're going to get something. So you can go for 21 days and come back with only 50 carat. And there's the day that you go out and you hit the jackpot and you come back, phew, you got 200 grand in your pocket. Yeah, you say, I want joy when I've got something out of it. So
Yes.
Luderitz has seen many ups and downs over the years. German merchants, soldiers, and diamond millionaires all left their mark here, as have fishing fleets, diamond boats, and occasionally tourists.
Die Menschen hier in der Gegend erhoffen sich sehr viel von der Öffnung des Nationalparks. Die erhoffen sich, dass mehr Touristen in unsere Gegenden kommen. Und mit den Touristen dann natürlich auch andere Geldquellen, Geschäfte, dass die Stadt ein bisschen Aufschwung erfährt. Denn momentan entwickelt sich Lüderitz gerade selbst wieder so ein bisschen zur Geisterstadt und das ist natürlich nicht schön. Und selbst für mich, die dort lebt und gerne allein hier im Sperrgebiet ist und keine weiteren Personen haben möchte, aber ich möchte auch nicht gerne in einer Geisterstadt leben.
The ruins of yesterday are part of the Namibia of today, where many are desperate to find work to put food on the table. The heady days of the diamond rush are long gone.